You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Capture After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Capture After Show.
Bing is for doing, and today we are doing the premiere episode of Capture, Season 1, Episode 1, The Hunt Begins. I know you are all very, very excited about this. My name is Keetin Marchi. I am your host today, and my lovely co-hosts today are...
Hi, I'm Romain. I'll be co-hosting with Keetin today, and today we have a special guest.
Hi guys, I'm Kellee Edwards from the Yellow Team.
Woo! We love our Yellow Team. I wore my yellow in honor of the Yellow Team.
Appreciate that.
Oh, no worries, girls. So let's just jump right into it because there's been a lot of just talk and excitement about this show. What is everybody's first impressions? I know, Kellee, I'm sure it was very interesting for you to watch it, having been a part of it, and then seeing how, you know, they've edited it down. But, like, just being viewers, Donald, what did you think?
Watching it for the first time was really exciting, number one. I thought the concept of chasing and catching, it made me anxious when I was at home watching everybody chase everybody down. I think that it's going to be an interesting season. I think the show has a lot to offer. I think that we didn't get too much in the first episode. It was a great teaser for the season. It was a great peek into what we have in store with the teams, with the game. There seems to be a lot of elements that maybe we don't know about yet. I don't know if you can give us more insight into that, but overall, I just thought it was exciting for the first episode.
I mean, like literally right when it began, I was just like, oh my gosh, the opening with the big wide aerial shots. I was like, this just screams Survivor to me, and the kind of tribal Rihanna music, and then they did like kind of these pullouts and like extreme wide shots of like the host and being like, you know, to not be like hunted and captured and blah blah blah, and you know, I didn't think he was like. He didn't really grab my attention that much, but he's super cute.
Yeah, Luke is pretty hot, that's for sure.
He has a great accent. I just didn't get his personality. I just wanted a little bit more of, like, who he was. He just seemed a little robotic to me at the start, but, like, he's very cute. As the episode went on, I really started to like him. But, like, first initial impression, I was kind of like, this guy's kind of forgettable. But
Aww.
I know, no, I don't think I'm going to forget him anymore.
No, you won't, because Luke is actually... He is very passionate. Mm-hmm. He's kind. He looks out for you when he feels like you can't necessarily speak for yourself. He makes sure that everyone stays in line at times, is what I can say. So he is the game master. Mm-hmm. He is the one who controls the hunting grounds. So he's definitely someone, if you didn't get a feel for him in the beginning, you definitely will get a feel for him as the show goes on.
Whenever he'd talk into that microphone, I'd be like, oh, it's Effie Trinket. I know. Pink elephant in the room. Okay, yes, you guys, this show does seem like it's based off of Hunger Games somewhat. It's not Hunger Games. No. They're not killing each other.
No.
It has a lot of similar things, but let's just be happy that they're not killing each other and that it's this great concept that we can all enjoy together.
It's a concept we love, something we're familiar with, something we want to see. I think it's exciting. I just wanted to chip in real fast. I agree on the host with Luke. In the beginning, I wasn't really feeling him. I thought he was good, but there was nothing that sold me. But as you said, as the show went on, I definitely became a fan. And I know we're going to talk about the elimination later, but I am going to chip in there. I was really a fan of him in the elimination. He really sold me there, and so I'm excited to see him lead this game as we go on.
So, you guys, as we're talking about overall impressions, we have a special caller. He's going to be a regular host on this after show, but James from the Lime team is on the line to give us his first impressions. Hello, James. Can you hear us?
Hi, guys.
Hi, James. Kellee.
Kellee, what's up, girl?
Hi, hun. I'm so happy to speak with you, buddy. I've got a little something to say.
Is there any like animosity between you two?
You know what's funny? Like, I spent a lot of time with James during my stay there, so I definitely got to know him on a more personal level than what was shown on TV. So I can't lie and say that, you know, I hate the guy. He stayed and I didn't, so that part definitely sucks, but he's definitely like a sweet soul. You and Rebecca, though, you guys are the masters of deceit.
Sneaky.
Dude, seriously, up until I saw the episode, I thought Bex was really hurt. And I know you guys saw, even on the show, I'm helping her into the jail as you join us. So you guys duped me. Up until yesterday, I thought Bex was hurt. So tell her when I see her, both you and her are getting your tushes kicked.
Well, let me tell you this. Like, Rebecca, like, that whole situation, it was pretty dramatic. Like, I remember when Erica and Ryan were chasing us, and I looked over, and Rebecca had been captured initially. I didn't realize she had been injured until she started screaming my ankle. And she actually did get hurt, but when she got the clear that it was fine, we were like, let's play this up. And that's when her interview was like, oh, you know, I'm fine. I had no idea. And I was like, Rebecca, you are on top of it, girl. Like, I'm proud of you. But when we initially got to the jail, it was still a little bit tender. But using it to our advantage, you know, why not use it that early in the game?
I can't lie.
I feel like if that didn't happen, I feel like we would have gone home over Marlena
You know what?
and Kellee.
You probably would have, to be honest with you. At least that's what I was hoping. You played it to your advantage. I can't be a hater. It was low-key genius.
Yeah.
And it definitely worked because it sent me and Marlena packing. You know what I mean? Everyone sympathized with you guys.
Probably one of the strongest teams there. Like, I know they kind of viewed you guys, or made you guys seem like pretty weak, and like that's what kind of made me
Which was far from the truth. Let me just clear that up. Far from the truth. Marlena she's pretty hardcore. You know what I mean? I'm definitely hardcore. I'm like,
you were pulling a plane in the clip when they showed your
by
team.
myself, you guys. I'm 5'3¼ about $115, and I'm pulling a 2,600-pound plane out on a tarmac. I'm not a weakling, okay? I might have got a little phlegm in my throat and it makes it look like I'm puking, but I'm just clearing my chest.
What was it out there? Was it the terrain? Was it the altitude? What was it that made it so hard then?
The altitude, okay, was serious. The terrain was serious. I have a very athletic background. I played basketball, I ran track. When I got up there, I felt like I had never did a sport in my life.
That's like another thing. Like, one of my first impressions with it was I didn't realize you guys, the elements. Like, James, when I've talked to you about it before, like I haven't gotten much information from you, and like other than what I've seen in the previews, those elements are rough. Like, I'm used to, like, I've worked on Survivor. I've been out there for that, and like, you know, it's hot, and the sun's strong out there. You guys are dealing with cold, and with high altitudes, like I've never, I mean, unless you're watching kind of like the Bear Grylls, like the Out of the Wild type shows, those type of elements have never really been like normal people have never been thrown into those elements and then documented on a reality television show,
right? Which
I really appreciated. James, like, what were some of your first impressions with the show?
Like the episode in general, or just being on it those first 2 days?
I would say just the episode in general.
My impression was, I mean, of course, it's super intense, and I feel like the storm that happened didn't do it justice. Like, that storm was brutal.
It was
hail
serious.
Hurt. We were all wet. We were miserable.
Yes.
I mean, it was brutal. The elements are absolutely something that I think wore down a lot of people that day on that hunt. And I think when on top of that, sleeping in 34-degree weather just added to it. And I think after the first night, all of us were like, what the heck did we get ourselves into? Because even with the cold and those elements, it was miserable.
Miserable. I don't even know if that really covers it. Whatever the word is worse than that, it probably doesn't even exist. That's what we experienced.
Oh, as a viewer, it did not look. It looked fun, but it did not look fun.
Yeah,
the hell
it
looked
didn't.
real. The beds looked hard. It looked cold. It looked
I thought
tough.
it was a joke. Like when they first like did the wide shot of like what like camp life is, I was like, or the village, and I was like, is this serious? Like they're gonna put them on those beds? That's just straight up metal.
Pink Team was on it though. Pink Team was on making those beds.
Those girls are amazing. amazing. I am not gonna lie. Arlen and Kristen are amazing.
Well, let's jump into the teams. Let's discuss the teams a little bit. You guys, I know we've talked a little bit. You and Lime team were able to hash it out a little bit.
Kinda.
But so let's start with let's say Pink team.
Okay, let's start with the Pink team.
First impressions of Pink team, really quick. James, first impressions of Pink team.
Pink team, when we got out there, I remember looking at Rebecca and I said, you know what, Pink team is going to play that charm. They're going to play their outdoor skills to their advantage, but they're going to do that to kind of win over the rest of the village. But, like, I knew they were playing the game. I wasn't naive to their game, so I think it worked to their favor this first episode.
I thought they were rock stars.
Oh.
I like them a lot.
They came off as trustworthy. They came off as able, obviously knew a lot, obviously experienced. I gotta say, right out of the gate, I'm really rooting for Pink team as one of my favorites.
I think they're gonna have a huge target on their back, but I think they're gonna make it really far.
I agree. I completely agree with you.
My first impression of the Pink team was that Kirsten was really quiet, and it's always the quiet ones you have to watch out for. And when Arlen revealed that her best friend was a survival specialist, the light bulb went off. Like, I knew there was something about that girl. It's so true. And Arlen, she's at least like maybe 5'10". She's a taller, stronger looking girl. So from the jump, I knew that she was a contender. Didn't know how, but just physically, we knew that girl was gonna put a beating on someone and somehow in some way. Not liking people, but just out there, we knew that she was tough.
I love how in their description it says one of them is like an expert archer, and I was like, "Hello, Katniss." Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm really gonna stop. I'll stop. Okay, no more Hunger Games. Okay, let's move on to I think one of my other favorites is Nikita and Jade on the Teal team. Just because when they talk, they make me giggle and laugh, and I just love it.
And they know it, and they are gonna play on it, and they said it themselves. They were like, the guys out here in America, they really love the British accent. We're really going to use it to our advantage. And they're smart and they're right, because I would do whatever they said.
Are they American citizens?
I have no idea about their citizenship.
Yeah, they have to be if they got on the show. I feel like they are.
Were you guys confused? Like, were you a little kind of like, oh, look how cute they are?
No, when I saw them, I know for a fact, I was like, oh my gosh, those girls are adorable. I just wanted to hear them talk the whole time. They finished each other's sentences. They were both hilarious. And I really, really did like them. I didn't get to spend as much time with them as everyone. So who knows how they acted for the rest of the show. But my time with them, I was thoroughly entertained.
What about you, James? What did you think of Jade and Nikita?
I think going in, when we found out obviously they're twins, I think Rebecca and I wanted to butter them up, because I feel like since Rebecca and I are siblings, we felt like we could work with the Teal team because they're sisters. Maybe since we have that familial bond, that we would be able to work with them. So that first episode, we tried our best to win their vote over,
Yeah. So what about Rob and Jacob? I thought they were related at first, but then I found out they're just neighbors.
Just neighbors.
Just neighbors.
Rob and Jacob were really interesting. I gotta say, I wasn't a huge fan, and they kind of turned me off with how abrasive they were. I felt like
Donald, I love you.
Just for example, when the Lime team came and Rob made the comment his first, and I'm doing a face here because that's the face that Rob did when he was like, oh, our first comment was I don't know, they just weren't as likable to me, but I think they're a threat and they're completely able.
I just love how they were just in their everybody had such a quick intro, and that was one of the things I was most frustrated about this episode and this show right now is just they just make it seem like there's too many people, and I don't know who everybody is. One team didn't even get introduced, and the teams that did get introduced, it wasn't enough. I'm talking to Kellee, and I'm like, I wish I would have seen more of you and Marlene's personality, because I really liked you guys in your intro, but
yeah,
but I loved how it was we're neighbors, we're gay.
It was we're the new breed of gay.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what it was, and I was
Donald,
just like,
don't even get me started on that quote. When I watched that quote, I was so frustrated.
I knew you would be,
I'm
James.
Hello, I'm the third gay here, and when they said the new breed of gay, I'm like, you guys are coming off cocky. You look like gym bunnies. You're not a new breed of gay. You're still gay. You're right. You're right.
I don't want to say too much, but yeah, you're right. What did you think, Kellee?
I actually remember seeing them, and had no idea at first upon the impression that they were gay guys. They look like Tinker Toy soldiers. They're huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, who are these guys, and how do we get them out of here ASAP? Because they had a lot of bravado, you know. And so that definitely for me it threw me off once you heard them just start speaking, and I was like, oh, but they were still very, very strong in a lot of ways. I feel like.
No, I definitely think they're a strong team, and they're quiet, so I feel like they're gonna be under the radar. I don't know, but
Quiet.
They're sassy.
Quite sassy.
I don't know. I think maybe not quiet, but they're just so like rough. They're just I don't know.
Yeah, no,
They're
I-
gay 2.0,
yeah.
like they said. 2.0.
They're like,
They're serious.
So next on my list, we'll save you guys for last. Let's move on to two brothers, Chris and Nick, who weren't even introduced until halfway through the episode. It was just basically like they're brothers. Okay, moving on.
That's
like
it.
that was it.
Real fast, I just gotta agree. These introductions were too short. They didn't get us a chance to get to know everybody. So I'm excited for the next episodes. But like, example for Chris and Nick, they're two brothers. They seem really sweet. They seem able, but I don't know much about them besides
That's
that.
why you guys have to keep watching the show. I'm sure that they will have more time to show you who they are. From the background that I understand, they're from Oregon. That's the land of outdoors.
True story.
You know,
True
so-
story right there.
I have a feeling that they're going to do pretty well out there. That is their backyard versus some of the other teams who have never even seen green, like
They're
every
probably-
18 blocks. Mr.
They're
Green
probably
team.
just chilling. That's why,
Yeah.
they're like not even interesting because
Nope.
they're just like chilling, like not even worried about anything. What about you, James? What do you think of them?
When going into it, I looked at Rebecca and I was like, "Those are your boys that you better butter up." I was like, "They're attractive, they're cute, they're
Look
strong."
at you whoring out your sister.
You have to whore her out.
I was a little, I was a little put off when I learned that this is like their backyard. I had no idea when I was watching the show. I was like, oh my gosh, this is their element. And so I knew they were going to be threats, but at the same time, Chris's baby blue eyes are hard to, I mean, you have to fall for them.
Yeah.
Like, Chris is adorable.
Bex loved her some Chris.
I honestly think they are the best looking team.
Really?
Besides
I
obviously
agree.
Lime and Yellow.
Oh, I thank
Yeah.
you.
Besides Lime
Thank
and
you.
Yellow,
Appreciate
I
that.
think
Lime
Chris
and
and
Yellow
Nick,
out of the running. I would say
those are
Gold
some
is the
hot
best looking team.
Yeah, those are some
You
hot
guys
boys.
you didn't think that Eric and Shane were hot?
Okay, can we just talk about Eric and
my
Shane?
God.
Let's talk about
Perfect.
Scott Disick and Scott Disick and his buddy. Like
Yes,
that's literally
yes.
all
So
I could
funny.
think of.
I wanted
Agreed.
to like them so bad, and then they were so cocky, and then I didn't want to like them, but then they just seemed like two big buffoons that were just hilarious, and I kind of love it. I kind of love it.
Eric and Shane are entertaining. They know exactly what to do to get under your skin. And they are masters at that.
And to get girls to sleep with them on the
On
first
the
night.
first day.
Sabrina and Noelle.
No, they said it. They'll do anything.
Yeah.
They'll do anything.
Sabrina and Noelle, they're not ashamed. They put that out. They're like, dude, we're here to win, and we're going to do what I have to do. So I'm not sure if Eric and Shane played Noelle and Sabrina, but it looks like Sabrina and Noelle played Eric and Shane.
Did Eric and Shane kind of James and Kelly did they kind of put off that attitude like when you guys were like starting the game that like, oh my god, these guys are just like cocky?
You know what? Shane I felt like was cool. Eric, from the jump, you knew that guy was gonna find your weak point and he was just gonna poke at it until you burst. So I think Eric is definitely more of the freaking troublemaker than Shane.
Okay.
What do you think, James?
No, I absolutely agree with Kelly. Like, even on the episode, you saw the blue team come up and tell Yellow that, oh, they're cool, you guys are going to stay. And then they completely slit Yellow's throat at the end at Elimination. I had them pinned and figured out the moment I saw them. I was like, they're the villains, they're going to make good TV, it is what it is.
And then, so how did they reel Sabrina and Noelle? And do you think Sabrina and Noelle were like, okay, actually what we're going to do, and like we're going to take control of the situation, or do you think they lost control of the situation by actually sleeping with them that first night?
I think Eric and Shane
I
tried to
think-
play him. Go ahead, hun. You can
I
talk.
was just going to say, I think Noelle and Sabrina knew what they were doing. Because I remember Noelle and Sabrina came up to the jail at one point, and I was like, what's going on? And I feel like Noelle and Sabrina are smarter than people give them credit for, because they decided to go for the blue team because they were so open and vulnerable about, we're going to play the wingman and the ladies man role, you know?
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? Do you think the black team, Sabrina Noel, sleeping with the blue team on the first night, did that paint a target on their back or seen negatively by the other teams? Because I noticed when they were coming out of the tent, the comments that they played were like, oh, I can't believe the black team slept with the blue team on the first night, but it didn't seem to really play against the blue team like it did the black team.
I feel like in this game though, as we saw with, you know, with James and Rebecca, and like with you guys getting eliminated first, it's almost to your advantage to play weak, to play dumb, because then people aren't threatened by you. And so I think absolutely if they like took control of that situation, I mean, I don't know. I think I think that took a target off their back.
You know what? When you say it that way, I have to completely agree with you, because it is more about it seems like right now they want to get the weak teams out, and right now Sabrina Noel, it made them look weak, but that makes them stronger in the game.
Actually, they wanted to get the stronger teams out, and Rob and Jacob brought that up.
Yeah.
Which is something that I did notice. I'm like, that's a pretty good point. If we're getting rid of all of the strong teams, at some point, some team is going to be stronger, and you're going to have the target on your back, and you're going to go home.
Absolutely.
So when it got down to the eliminations, you know, I was hoping that, you know, going back, seeing that even though I knew the outcome, that people would have realized that. Like, you know, you might want to keep the stronger teams around for a little bit for other reasons other than just knocking off all the weak teams. I mean, I wish that I threw up, for crying out loud. If Rebecca can get some sympathy for her ankle, shouldn't I have gotten some sympathy from hacking up some phlegm? Like, for crying out loud, that didn't work for me.
Do you know who at the beginning I really thought they were gonna get captured was the green team.
Interesting.
I even wrote bye bye green team in my notes, thinking that they were gonna go. And like my friend who I watched it with is screaming at the TV, parkour towards them, like, get them. I don't know. There was something about the green team that I kind of didn't like off the bat.
Yeah.
Really?
I got rubbed the wrong way by the end, and after they did that sneaky hide, it kind of flipped my perception of them. But at first I was just like, I don't know. I didn't really like them.
Oh, interesting.
But by the end of the episode, I was like, okay, I think these guys are contenders. I think they're smarter than I thought they were gonna be, and I don't know, and they're obviously super athletic, and they're super strong.
That's so funny. They are both very athletic, which I'm sure you guys will see, and I do think that they are contenders. Like I said, I personally wouldn't be surprised if you saw some of the strongest people out here get broken down. As I said, my background in athletics, Marlena's very athletic. Everyone was screwed out there. Everyone is going to break down, strong or not. Yeah. And that's what I can say about that.
Oh, yeah. They came off extremely athletic to me. And as you said, like, I can't wait for the season to go on, because I know conditions are only going to get worse. And you're only going to get exhaustion's going to set in. But I have to agree. They didn't come out, they didn't have too much outgoing personalities at first, so I wasn't drawn to them. But when I saw them play the purple team and watch them run right past and do that little switcheroo, that's when I was like, you know what, I've got some mad respect for you guys, and you're making me excited to watch you guys. So I'm interested to see more of them.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be really interesting when the green team actually are the hunters. I hope they're the hunters soon, because I think they're going to be some, like, some scary hunters. Like, I don't know, they're so much smarter than they're like foxes.
Yes.
I feel like that if I had an animal, they're like really like these foxes. I don't know. I really like them, and I'm excited to see kind of like how far they do go. But speaking of, James, do you have any comment on the green team?
I think Rebecca and I adore the green team. I feel like in the first episode, I don't know. Them voting to keep us, like, automatically, like, we like the green team, obviously. But I think when we saw them, it was more like, these guys are threats. Do we want to work with them, or do we want to try to get them out? So we'll see what happens in the episodes to come or whatever. But who knows? I mean, the green team are definitely strong, and them outsmarting the purple team like that, like, good for them. I had no idea until I saw it last night.
Oh, and speaking of the purple team, I don't know about them. I really don't.
This is the thing. I am just waiting for Erica to have a breakdown on screen, because she seemed like she was on edge the whole episode. Like, she had to run. She just seemed very tense.
Erica and Ryan, they balance each other. Erica definitely has a lot of energy, and she's ready to exert it at all times. And Ryan is more of a calm one. As you can see even in the previews, he's just like, calm down, like it's gonna be okay, let's stay level-headed. So I think they balance each other out very well.
Yeah.
Very
well with a huge smile on my face.
When you guys saw the purple color come up, the purple talon,
Yeah.
that's what it was, the purple talon come up, like James and Kellee, were you guys like, oh crap, like that's a team that I'm gonna be a little nervous to run from, or were you kind of like, oh, we don't really care?
No, I personally, none of us knew that they did parkour.
Oh.
So when they walked up there, I was like, easy. I'm not gonna see them today. You know, that's how I felt. I was not threatened by them at all. I couldn't figure them out. All the whole time, I'm labeling everyone. You're this, you're this, you're this. And then when I got to them, I had no idea. And it's like, never judge a book by its cover. That is definitely the moral of the story with the purple team, because they kick major butt.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Whether you saw it on TV or not, just know that these kids are the bomb.com.
Really? James, were you a little scared of them?
You know what? I think the chasing with us, like, I remember when they came over that rock and I saw that town lit up. I just remember turning on to Rebecca. I was like, run. I had never been so scared in my life, right? Because I knew that they knew what they were doing, because I saw them jumping over those rocks when we were running from them. I was like, these kids know what they're doing.
Freaking Erica was like
Kellee,
she was doing the
Ryan
jump.
and Erica really balance each other out. They're a really cute couple. They're definitely strong competitors. And it says a lot about their integrity when Rebecca hurt herself and Erica wanted to help her up. I have to commend them. I respect their game a lot.
That's awesome. So another team that I really am confused about, / I don't think they're gonna go far though, is the gray team. I can't.
The friends
say their name.
The friends without benefits.
The friends without benefits, because
Yeah.
I think they're gonna argue. I think they're gonna. I don't know. I just think the whole friends without benefits thing, I don't know. Because he likes her more than she likes him. That's obvious.
That is obvious. And the way the previews played it was that he had a temper, and that things were going to get heated. And that made me think they were going to rub other teams the wrong way, and that's why they weren't going to go very far. If it wasn't for their athletic ability, it was just going to be the mere fact that they weren't going to be able to connect with other teams. Because also, Trumana didn't come off very friendly to me either. They just didn't come off friendly.
I think that's the thing.
That's
I
the
didn't.
thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it like this. Trumana is definitely a competitor.
Yes.
She's very, very competitive. And Jarek, as you can, even in their intro, he's very lighthearted. You know, he's making jokes, he's making funnies. But if you cross him, it looks like he might get upset. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if that dynamic is him getting upset with Trumana or the other people in the village. But I feel like, you know, I don't think that they are bad at all. I personally love them. They voted for us to stay.
Well, I respect that. I respect that they were like, you know what? No offense, James. But like they were like, we want to play the game and we want to play it against the hard, who they thought right there up front were the hardest competitors, rather than getting rid of the hardest competitors. So I respect that, and their their competitive nature, and them not being afraid of keeping
you know what? And let's talk about these alliances, because Jarek and Trumana, a few people told us that they would vote for us. Jarek and Trumana were one of them that said that they would keep us there.
They were honest.
Yes, and they kept their word. There were other people who said that they were going to vote for us to stay and did not.
Yeah.
So that was why I went on about my little speech at the end about trust no one, because people will tell you that they're going to do something for you, and in the end, it shows that they do not.
Which was a great speech, by the way.
Thank you kindly.
So great team was loyal. So
great team was loyal.
And when we're going to talk about the elimination in just a bit, so when we get there, we're definitely going to touch on what teams weren't loyal.
Yeah. Okay.
But I agree that as far as the great team, maybe it was just how competitive they were, that was maybe the first turn off. But I can't wait for the next episode, see more of them, see them friendly.
I'm just saying, because I've met these people on the show. They're pretty. Trumana and Jarek are pretty amazing. I've actually spent time with them.
Jarek has the cutest smile.
Oh my gosh.
I just can't. I keep staring at his picture right here, and I'm just like, look how cute you are.
Jarek is he's a total chocolate drop.
He's a heartbreaker.
Jarek is super sweet. Okay, and Trumana, I love her. She's just like, I just want to put her in my pocket. She's the cutest little thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Well, with Matt and Kalisa, I don't even know who they are, but let's move on.
I do have a question.
Oh, it's Kalisha. Matt and Kalisha.
So
Okay.
but that's perfect because that's exactly what I was just thinking. What I just wanted to ask. We didn't get an introduction to the White Team. If you guys watched the show, White Team was Matt and Kalisha. They didn't show you guys who they were. But luckily we have Kellee and we have James here. So is there anything you guys can tell us about the White Team? Which you're only going to get here first because we're the only ones that have them.
I know.
Oh boy.
Oh, so sorry.
No, it's okay, hon.
Okay.
I think that James, you might have more insight on the White Team than me. I just know my first impression of seeing them that they looked pretty tough because they were so quiet. So that's the only thing that I know about the White Team. I didn't get a chance to really know them as well as some of the others. So go ahead, James.
With Matt and Kalisha, I think definitely just seeing Kalisha's build, I knew something was up with her. I didn't know if she did martial arts, and same goes for Matt. So when I saw them, I was like, these two are going to definitely be top contenders, and I'm surprised they didn't show enough of them in the first episode, but who knows what's to come in the future episodes. But Matt and Kalisha definitely are quiet and I think unpredictable.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to get to know them more and just get to even find out their names. Can we just know their names maybe? Just so we know who we're rooting for.
Their names are Matt and Kalisha.
Kalisha,
Okay,
not Kalisa.
Matt and Kalisha.
So, just the last two teams, obviously, we are very lucky to have a member of each of them here. But if you guys are, like, watching, you can see that we're cleaning up some spilled water. So, that's another new elephant in the room, you guys. Not Hunger Games anymore. There is spilled water in the room.
We're making it more entertaining.
But obviously, James, you can't see what we're doing. But so, Kellee, what was your first impression of James and Rebecca?
Honestly, I was like not even worried about them, like at all. They just seemed like super sweet, like hunky-dory, like hi guys, like being nice to everyone. So I had no. I love you, James, but I wasn't worried about you, dude. Even though you were the reason why I went home. I was just like, oh, I didn't know you guys were brothers and sister at first. So when I found out that you guys were brother and sister and the story behind that, that made me like love you guys instantly, even though you end up being a little deceitful little son of a guns.
I have to say, and I'm probably going to be biased because I've known James for a couple years now, so I really like him as a person anyways. But seeing them on the show, if I didn't know him, I would have loved their team. It seemed like the music got lighter. It seemed like there were birds chirping, and like it seemed like that scene from Cinderella where all the birds were going around and they were just like strolling and like, hold my hand, Rebecca. No, James. Like it was just real cute.
It's like you guys are like Hansel and Gretel, like trying not to get captured by the witch. Like
Yes.
you guys are just having a great old time. I completely agree. Like I always, whenever I watch reality TV shows, I always like connect the most with the person who I think is the underdog, and you guys are just so adorable. And they didn't even introduce you. You guys were another team that it was kind of like somebody mentioned like the Lime team, and then they're like, oh, by the way, these are the Lime team. It took somebody like mentioning you guys that they weren't even like that they weren't worried about you for you guys to actually be introduced. But it was definitely really funny. When you guys were there, and I'm glad that you guys are kind of like these kind of funny characters on the show. But then the faces, James, that you would make at the it was almost like Jim from The Office. These reactions you would have to like either people doing things or like in your interviews.
Gosh.
I was just like cracking up watching it, and my friend watching it with me was just like, "That's the guy you know?" I'm like, "Yep,
Yep, that's him.
That's him." She's like, "He's great." James, what was your first impression of Marlena and Kellee?
Honestly, Marlena and Kellee are super athletic. And when we saw them running from the starting gate, I was like, Rebecca, these girls are athletic. They know how to probably outrun the hunt team. So when we saw them in jail on the first day, I think I was really shocked that they were captured.
We
Again,
were
after
shocked.
seeing their whole capture, I was shocked. They got caught up in those trees. I was shocked. But again, I got to spend a lot of time with Kellee and Marlena in the jail, and I have nothing but mad respect for them. They are definitely competitors. They're definitely honorable, and I adore you guys a lot, and I think you know that, Kellee.
I do know that, and I'm glad that we have been able to hash our little hunt difference capture. I'm glad we've been able to, to hash that out, because I definitely was like, what in the world? So, you and Rebecca are all right in my book. That's all I can say. I'm glad you guys, even though I didn't want to go home, if you guys got to stay, happy for you. I'm throwing up a thumbs up and my lips are twisted to the side while I'm saying
well, at least
thanks,
you're
Kellee.
honest. So now that we've kind of gotten through all the teams, and we love you guys' insight on it, let's get into the hunt and like what that was actually like.
Oh gosh,
Kellee, give us your take
wow.
on it.
So I'll just speak for the whole cast. We did not know that it was going to be that intense. Everyone's
James agrees.
We're all working out and practicing running and things like that, but when you take any athletic ability that you have to run or whatever background you have and you incorporate mountains, logs, water, cold, thunderstorms, cold, the food not being anything you wanted to eat, it breaks you down. So the hunt, everyone had a what the hell moment.
So and the hunt lasted 4 hours a day, correct?
Yeah.
And this is one question that I had for you guys. How much time did you have when you were released to when the hunters were released?
I wish I could tell you that I remembered, but I know that it appeared that it was a while, like at least 20 minutes before we would even see them. I mean,
we also had no concept of time. So I think for us, it was like, when are they going to be released? So that paranoia starts to set in. So we really had no idea concept of time. We didn't know what time of day we were starting the game, when the hunt ended, when we went to bed. Like, it was no concept at all.
I'm just like thinking about like the hunt and stuff. Like, how big was the arena?
It was huge.
It was like wasn't it 2 miles long and 1 mile wide? But there was a 10-mile perimeter.
Yes, it's 10-mile perimeter with a 4,000-acre compound.
It was huge, and it's
it was huge.
Trying to figure out where to go by looking at our GPSs. It's like you feel like you can go anywhere and get lost in there, but obviously that's not the case because we showed up on the radar for our reason, according to the show, for the 3 minutes.
So wait, tell us about the 3-minute rule and what happened.
So the 3-minute rule is you cannot stay still in one place for 3 minutes. So if you stay in one place for 3 minutes, you come up on the hunt team's radar.
Do you stay on the hunt team's radar for the rest of the hunt day?
I don't know if we were there the whole time because we had moments where we would see them and we would lose them, So I just know that I can tell I definitely had, in a way, not a complete concept of the time because I never remember staying in one place for 3 minutes. I remember, I'm like, was it 3 minutes around like a certain area or what? Because even though like I had that moment where me and Marlene are talking and we're trying to strategize, even then on the show I'm like, it's only been like 1 minute, And so
no, they showed that. You're like, no, we don't need to move. We're fine.
Yeah, I'm like, it's only been a minute because I'm definitely like trying to keep concept of that time, but I guess I was wrong.
So I have a question. When you guys were talking about, it's only been a minute, whether you guys started talking about, well, if you know where to go, you go, or you know where to go, you go. Had you guys already seen the purple team at that point? Is that
no?
We hadn't
seen them yet at all.
Okay,
no,
so you guys were just deciding
we
what
were
your
just
strategy was.
trying to get as far away from where we thought they might have been as possible.
Okay.
That was what the goal was at that time, and unfortunately we couldn't figure that out as soon as we needed to when we needed to. So the original plan was to go as far north as we can in the perimeter, and when you're looking at the map and then you're like, okay, the hunt team's released, like you start thinking, well, where are they coming from, Yeah. So we're like, well, maybe we shouldn't go that way. Maybe we should go the other way. And I think what we should have just done is just stuck to the one plan and just moved on it.
That's awesome.
That makes sense. It seemed like a lot of the teams that were successful were the ones that just went in a direction and kept going and not turned back or got too turned around.
I think that, I felt like I was overthinking it more than I should. No one knew how the game went. You know, this is not a show that anyone has seen before, so you have nothing to go on. You just go off your own instincts. And me and Marlena are both very we're hard thinkers, and we're both in a way like perfectionists in our own ways. And so we wanted to make sure we're going to come on this show and we're going to kick butt and we're going to execute, and we were going to do it like seriously in that order. Okay.
Do you think you guys played too hard, too fast? Like,
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm so glad you said that, because like I said, we didn't know that when the hunt team was coming, where they were coming. So we definitely hauled butt out of there. So when you see me and I'm, hacking up the phlegm out of my throat, we had been moving like nonstop, running hardcore as fast as we could. It wasn't like we weren't jogging anywhere. Like James said, when we ran out the gates, we ran out the gates. And so we definitely, I feel like we might have overdid it. We could have dialed it back, but we had no idea. So it's like, go hard or go home. And we went hard and we went home.
Hey, at least you went out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about for you, James? I know, like, one of my favorite parts actually of the episode was the time, when you guys ran into the red team and you're like, we come in peace, and then like all of a sudden it was mad chaos, like jump cuts, and like I was just like, what is going on? But I'm so excited and my heart was pounding because I felt like I was being chased in the way they edited that. That was one of my favorite parts of the episode, was when actually you got captured.
Good.
I hate that you got captured. I wanted to cry, but I hate that you got captured, but I loved that part of the episode.
Well, thank you. That moment was really intense. I don't care what people say. They can say it's a really physical game, but honestly, I think a lot of it was luck. Like, I think if Kellee and Marlena didn't get caught up in that tree, I don't know if they would have been captured.
Thank you for saying that. So true.
You what?
I said thank you for saying that because it's so true, James. Like, me and Marlena were ahead of the hunt team, and I was on my knees trying to get Marlena's pant leg unstuck from a tree branch. So if you guys didn't catch that and you were wondering what was that like cluster of footage that you saw, Marlena's leg was caught in a tree, and I'm on my knees trying to release her so we can keep it moving. And by the time we were trying to get it unleashed, the purple team came up behind and they got me. I was in a vulnerable position, you know what I mean? That's just how it went.
Yeah.
But go ahead, hun.
And I know, I was just saying, again, it's such a luck game. I think Rebecca and we had a really good location on the map. We hadn't seen anybody but the red team that entire hunt. And it was one of those moments where it's like, let's stick with somebody so we can get to know somebody. So if we are captured, maybe we can get their vote at the end of the day. And then literally we were like traversing this rock, this cliffside for a good 23 minutes until we got that countdown for the last part of the hunt. And when we turned the corner going back up our route, we ran literally right into Ryan and Erica. So it wasn't like we couldn't outrun them because of the train we were on, but at the same time, we literally ran right into the hunt team that we had no shot in hell. No matter what people say, it's not physical. It is absolutely luck. And it was scary.
So was it really like that close? Like they were in their final 2 minutes of the game? Because that was so dramatic.
It was really dramatic.
Yeah.
And I have a question. The red team was with you at the moment that you guys saw the purple team and they took off in the other direction?
Yeah.
Because so and was the red team friendly to you guys? Because they didn't seem in their solo interviews too friendly, but were they friendly with you guys when you guys were together?
They were definitely friendly to us. I think that they thought Rebecca and I were we were really naive, so we would take them for face value, which we did. I had no idea that they were using us, which power to them. That's great strategy. But in that moment, I don't think Ryan and Erica saw Rob and Jacob because we were in the direct line of path that Ryan and Erica were on. So at that point, Ryan and Erica had to really run for just lime instead of red. Mm-hmm. And of course, the train we were on, and once Rebecca got captured and her hurting her ankle, it was one thing after another. And it seemed like that was the scariest moment of my life.
Oh my God. That was, one of the questions that I did have for you guys is when, a team is in that situation where there are, you're the hunter, there are two teams right there. You only have to get one person from one team. Can they split up and chase after two different teams, or do they have to chase after one team?
They can chase after whoever they can get their hands on.
So what if they both chase after two separate teams?
No, they have to stay together as a unit.
Okay.
And they have to decide which team they're going to go after. You're not allowed to split up. There's actually different rules. I believe there's it's a 10-foot rule, James, that they couldn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they couldn't. You definitely couldn't leave because that was what we were concerned about. We were like, because some people are faster than the other in the team. So I'm like, well, how is that going to work out? You know, because I'm like, I'm going to be worried about Antoine and Kareem. I think I'm going to really be worried about Antoine because he looks like he runs some track or something, and I don't want that dude coming after me, you know? So they definitely, they have to stay together as a unit, as a hunt team, and decide who they're going to get.
Well, cool. So then you guys got captured.
Yes.
That was super sad.
Yeah.
You spent one whole day by you guys' self in that cell.
We
when
did.
They all went out and captured. So then when you guys both got in that cell together, how long was that period, and what was that kind of like when you guys are it's funny because in other reality shows like Big Brother or Survivor, you kind of want to separate yourselves from the team that's against you or the person that's against you from getting eliminated, but you guys are stuck together. You guys have to kind of strategize with other people while you're in the same close, small vicinity with each other.
Basically, you know, I think we all just tried to sneak conversations with different people at different times and use our inside voice, you know, while we're having conversations. And then, you know, when we come together inside the jail, me, James, Marlena, and Becca, you know, we were cool with each other, but we were all scheming, trying to stay there.
Yeah.
Which brings me to an important question, something you touched on earlier. You gave a speech at the end of the show talking about loyalty. And I assumed that it was related to the teams that you were talking to while you were in the jail cell. What teams were you talking to betrayed you, and what did they say?
Well, we knew that Jarek and Tremana were going to vote for us, and they kept their word, so they were loyal. Thank you. We love you guys from California to Boston. And Chris and Nick, the gold team. Marlena, you know, she spent some time speaking to the older brother.
She put her flirt on.
Chris,
Yeah, Chris. And you know, they had a pretty intimate conversation, and he, you know, pretty much said that, you know, that he was going to look out for us. So when they came up there and they voted for us to go home, you know, it was definitely a little bit of a throw off.
So you got the gold team in your corner and you got the gray team in your corner. Were there any other teams in your corner?
I thought blue was going to be in your corner.
Yeah, I thought
sure.
because, you know, I thought Shane and Eric, especially Shane, liked us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you did. She just winked
So
at me guys.
I thought that they were going to keep us around just, you know, maybe to have a little fun. But they picked their girls, Noelle and Sabrina, maybe because they were available and we were on lockdown.
You guys were in the cage.
Would you have slept with them the first night if they asked?
That was definitely not happening. That was negative.
Well, I think this is interesting because we have the yellow team and someone from the lime team here. James, who was on your team? Who was on your side? Who did you know going into the vote?
I was kind of surprised they didn't really show a lot of their. I mean, who knows what they're going to show in episode 2? But I really feel like Green was backing us up. I think Antoine and Kareem were really backing up Rebecca and I quite a bit, which is maybe why Gold and Blue ended up changing their votes for Kellee and Marlena. But I really thought Rebecca and I were going to go home. I mean, you watch on all these reality shows, you hear one thing, but then something else happens.
Yeah.
It was such a scary moment for Rebecca and I. You know, even though she had that hurt bum ankle, anything could have happened. This is the first time we've all met each other. It's only day 2 of the game. So I feel like maybe Antoine and Kareem were the ones that really orchestrated the lime team staying.
So during the elimination, you guys looked cold. Especially cold during the elimination.
Oh my god!
Like more cold than I thought you guys looked in the entire episode. Like I shivered a little bit sitting on my couch underneath my blanket, my Snuggie. But how was that process? Like, was that a little intimidating? Was that a long process, that elimination? Where does the cave lead? Where does this cave lead? That's all. I was just like, where does the cave go?
Where does the cave go?
We don't know where the cave goes.
I will say that it was as cold as it looked times 10.
It was so cold. Rebecca and I didn't even want to hold those bars.
It was
cold.
unbearable. And I'm originally from Chicago, and so I've definitely had my fair share of being in freezing temperatures. But for some reason, living in California, you know, my body has changed, and I was like, what is this? It was so uncomfortable. You didn't want to breathe. You didn't want to move. You didn't want to touch yourself to even warm yourself up. You just wanted to stay in whatever position you were and try to keep as much body heat to yourself as possible because it was serious.
Oh.
And James, you're so little. You're so thin and tall. I know you were flipping freezing more than me.
I was so cold. I remember looking at Rebecca and I was like, "Can this be over with? I'm freezing. I have to pee."
So after like you guys were eliminated, did you get to say goodbye? Any goodbyes at all, or did you just you're done? Like
we are done and we are exited out of
immediately.
there.
Yeah.
Straight off that bridge.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like a, honestly, I don't know if anyone really should have wanted to say goodbye to us at the time because we weren't ready to go home.
Yeah.
And 10 teams sent us home. So I really, at that time, didn't want to give any hugs or daps or anything. I actually mentioned, I told them all, I said, and I'm not going to fly any of you guys anywhere. I said, Jerick and Shamana, when you come to California, if you ever do, I got you. We're going to go, we're going to fly. The rest of you guys, whatever. Catch the bus.
That was, to go back to your speech, that was a great speech.
Thank you.
Like from a reality television lover standpoint, that was such a great exit speech, and I love that they let you do that because not very many shows really like let you have that platform. I mean, they'll give that to you before you know you're leaving, but you knew you were leaving, so you got to say what you wanted to say exactly how you wanted to say it. And that was another one of my favorite parts of the episode. I think it was able to end on a high note because it was just like, oh yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. So
I'm
thanks
so
for
glad
that.
thank you. I'm a very passionate person, and like I said, I was not ready to go home, like, at all. So I just wanted them to know, it wasn't a secret. Everyone knows what I said. Trust no one.
Yeah.
Those alliances, they're out the door. You're going to see people probably use each other and abuse each other. And I just wanted them to be aware of that because look what just happened to me and Marlena,
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what it was. So that was my Obama speech, I call it.
Your speech definitely set the tone for the rest of the season. It's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. People can't rely on each other. And that goes back to when we were talking about the host, when everybody was complaining about the conditions, and he was like, "It's $250,000. If you don't want to be here, sit down. Somebody will gladly tag you." And I was
True story.
I was happy to see the host being rough on that.
At
It
that
made
moment,
it feel more real.
When Luke said that, I was like, yeah, if any of you guys would like to go home, me and Marlena will happily switch with you right now. I mean, I can't speak for Marlena, but I know for me, like, dude, who's freezing, who's cold, and who's hungry? Because I'm willing to be freezing, hungry, cold, and constipated, just so I can get $250,000.
So Kellee, I know you've been answering so many of our questions, and so have you, James. So thank you guys for being so open with us. But we did get somebody tweeted at James actually to ask you a question, and he just you said it right at De Grande Sabuna.
At De Grande Sabuna.
De Grande Sabuna. What is the worst, Kellee? Not having enough food or not having enough water?
Well, everyone knows that water is essential to survival, but being out there, that food sucked. Okay, I have traveled around the world and I have eaten everything that you could probably imagine, and I would trade some of the grossest things that I've eaten to not eat. The lentils and rice, the beans and the rice, and the oatmeal and almonds with no flavor on anything. I don't even look at rice the same anymore. As soon as I see white rice, I'm looking for butter, salt, pepper, whatever I can do to like spice it up. Because that food, I mean, it wasn't enough. They gave us the minimal that we needed to survive, but it was terrible. So I would have rather had some really good food, and it looks like the next episode there was some food there.
Oh man. Well, if any of you guys out there who are listening have any questions, any comments, please go to our iTunes, rate us, give us good ratings, give us comments. You can download us for free, and you can tweet at any of us as well, asking us questions. And if we have guests, or we'll always have James here usually, you can ask him questions, and you guys are pretty awesome and open about it. So.
And make sure when you tweet and you ask questions, hashtag. It'll be easier for us to find it as well. Hashtag capture, hashtag AFTERBUZZ TV. Hashtag them together so we can find it, because we'd love to answer your guys' questions.
Absolutely. So I know we're kind of running out of time a little bit, but Kellee, I mean, do you have any inside? You've given us a lot of inside information, but any news and gossip? Anything that's going on or?
All I can say is that I know that the show, if you guys weren't satisfied with getting to know everyone on the first episode, this show will definitely reveal a lot of personalities. I know the white team, you guys are all wondering who they are. They will definitely show themselves, and you guys will be shocked at the abilities of some and expect something from others that you will not get. And that's definitely what I can say. Even as a prime example, the Lime team. Everyone underestimates them, and apparently they're little brilliant connivers.
So do you have any final thoughts?
I would have to say I'm just really excited to get to know the teams more. I'm really excited to get to know the pink team. I love the black team. I think the gold team's going to do well. Lime team, I'm rooting for you, James. I think it's great. But as far as this show and my predictions for the teams, so far right now, I think the pink is the front runner for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about for you, James?
I mean, I can't tell you.
Well, okay. Well, okay. We'll move on from you.
I think overall, again, I can say it right now. Like what you saw in this episode, people get captured. It's really intense, but a lot of it is luck. So if you're going to go in and say these people are the strongest team, you can never expect. You have to expect the unexpected with this show because anything can happen.
Exactly, and I will co-sign on that.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know. I can agree with you. I think pink team is they're either going to be eliminated probably in the next 2 episodes, or they're going to make it really far.
Don't break my heart.
I think because I think they have a huge target on their back, and
Yeah.
I think again, as James said, it's a lot of luck, and they might have a lot of survival skills, but when you have to just run and not stop moving for more than 3 minutes, and those elements are as rough. That hail was huge. I thought that was a joke.
Imagine being in. I for a moment I looked and I was like, wait a minute, is this real? It was intense.
Well, where can we find you guys?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Kellee Set Go, KELLEE SETGO, Kellee Set Go, and also check out my website, kelleesetgo.com, if you're looking for me.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram, both Donald Romain, DONALDROMAIN.
What about you, James? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at James Wallington, WALLINGTON, and on Instagram at Mr. MR James Wally.
You can find me on Twitter at KeetinM33, as well as on Instagram. Thank you so much, Kellee, for joining us today. We hope to have you back.
Thanks for having me. I'll come back whenever, guys. I'm down.
You've been great. We're so sad you're not on the show anymore, but we're glad we can still talk to you about it. And James, thank you so much for calling in. I know you're home visiting the family and celebrating your first episode on Capture. But thanks everybody for tuning in.
Rebecca and I send our love, Kellee, and I hope to see you when I get back to LA.
You will see me, and tell Bex I said hello.
I will.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.